Hello, I'm Dr. Brandt Gibson, and today I want to talk to you about a form of treatment for peripheral neuropathy that can be done at home. Sometimes this will even be partially covered or completely covered by insurance, though a lot of times that's still becoming a little bit of an issue. This treatment is called the Rebuilder. It's a medical device that was created by Dr. Phillips about 28 years ago. And over the time, he's actually improved it and found it to work very well over this period of time. The idea of this unit is it's a modified form of electrical stimulation that is an improvement, a significant improvement over, say, a TENS unit. So a TENS unit is an electrical stimulation that creates a pulse relatively quickly to basically overpower the nerves. It creates an anesthesia, an anesthetic effect that stops the nerve pain through the TENS unit. The difficulty with that is sometimes after the treatment, you may get an increase or a spike in pain because of the overstimulation that happens from the TENS unit, and they may not be quite as effective. As we've talked about previously, we use another type of electrical stimulation called the Calmer that is depolarizing or repolarizing the nerves to re-educate them and teach them to function more appropriately. The Rebuilder machine works in a similar fashion, but with this different methodology that's going to work really well for certain types of nerve malfunction. So let me give you a quick reminder of peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy is a malfunction of the nerve where it's not functioning like it's supposed to. It's sending signals that are incorrect, and the brain is having a difficulty in interpreting those signals, and sometimes we'll interpret normal sensations as pain or numbness or tingling or so forth. So the advantage of the Rebuilder over many of the units is that it doesn't just send signals, it also reads those signals. So it's actually measuring the signals, measuring what the nerves are currently doing. So let me kind of give you a quick overview of kind of what it does. So it sends signals 7.83 times per second. Why does it use that? Well, there's a frequency called the Schumann resonance, which in that frequency, it stimulates the brain to release its own pain relieving and mood enhancing chemicals with no side effects. So it's actually causing the brain to self-treat or self-heal by using that frequency. It also gives the nerve time to recover. So it's giving an electrical stimulation similar to like the TENS unit's doing. It's a different type of signal. I'll talk about that here in a second. But like the TENS unit, but instead of hitting another signal right after, it allows the nerve to recover. So it's causing the nerve to polarize and depolarize in a frequency that allows it to recover. So it sends that first signal, and it reads that signal to see how it's received or how it's sent. And so it can actually interpret if there's problems with the way the signal is being sent or so forth. And because of that, it can actually improve the signal and say, okay, there's an issue with this signal, so I'm going to send it in a different way. It also reads the signal that's being sent to the brain. So it can say, okay, we sent this signal, this is how it was received, this is what's being sent to the brain, is that normal? And it can actually adjust for that. So what it does a mirror image of the abnormal portions of the signal. So if you've got a signal that's spiking right here, it's gonna go lower to bring it back to normal. So instead of having the spike, you're gonna actually have a more normal signal, which actually improves nerve pain without creating the anesthesia or the numbness that could come with it. So it's doing that. So basically, by doing those 7.83 times per second, it's causing the body to release nerve pain relief and mood enhancing chemicals, but it's also allowing it to read and adjust the signals to get the correct signal being sent to the brain. It also is comparing those signals as they're being sent to what a healthy nerve signal is, again, to move the abnormal signal back to a normal signal. So what is it doing? It's doing really four things. It's changing the sensation that's happening in the nerve. It's waking nerves that are asleep, because if it's anesthetic and it's too low, it's going to increase that signal. It's decreasing an overacting signal, so if it's got a spike, it's going to actually lower it back to normal. It's going to cause motor strengthening. So what it's going to do, because it's causing contraction of the muscles, it's going to treat your motor neuropathy by improving the nerve functions to those muscles and causing the muscles to contract and expand, similar to, say, if you were going to do an exercise. The 7.83 times per second will cause the contraction similar to if you were to go run. And so it actually functions really quite well in that case. The third thing that it does, it re-educates that nerve to send the signal correctly. If there's a problem with the nerve, a normal signal will work its way around that problem and try to function. And a lot of times because of that, it will slow it down. It will become a weaker or a slower signal. Whereas with the rebuilder, it actually causes it to go through the correct pathway, which speeds it up and strengthens the signal. So it's re-educating it to give it a better signal it's getting to the brain and to the muscles and so forth. It also increases the blood flow and conduction of the nerves. So it's increasing blood flow to the area, and because of it increased blood flow to those nerves, you're actually getting increased neurotransmitters, or the minerals that cause the signals to be transmitted between the dendrite of a nerve and the axon of a nerve. So the axon sending to the dendrite, it's creating additional minerals in that area, additional neurotransmitters, so that the signal has enough strength to educate the next nerve. So it continues to move through the pathway. So it's improving the blood flow, improving the flow of the nerve. So really, with those four things, and with the ability that it has to function, it is a good option for treating peripheral neuropathy symptoms. Pain, it's really, really aggressive at treating and helping with pain. But because of the other side effects, the treatment of motor neuropathy, the re-education or establishing a better path for the nerve signal to send so you don't have the weakness or slow signals, and the increased blood flow, all means that you're also helping to repair the nerve. So an advantage of the rebuilder is it actually will help in multiple ways to help those nerves function more like they're supposed to. Now, it takes about 30 minutes treatment a day. A lot of times in the process of treating this at home, you will get to the point where you don't necessarily have to do it every day, but you can do it a couple times a month and still get the same benefits and the same improvements that can happen. This is Dr. Brandt Gibson, and this is your Neuropathy Nugget, day 93, using the rebuilder as a specialized electrical stimulation device for peripheral neuropathy. This is something we've been looking at very, very carefully, and through my additional studies, it is something we will be using more extensively, especially for our patients.